Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to the Church Bulletin.
Yes. It's a really exciting bulletin this week.
Yeah,
not really.
bulletins are very
No.
exciting. Actually, bulletins are very just informational.
It is.
Just to get that word out there. So,
No, this is
It's
well.
just-
I'm
it's
just
fun.
excited about this podcast because it dawned on me as we were setting up that we haven't done a podcast together in a while. We had a long stretch there, but then
The B team was holding it steady for a long
yeah,
time.
yes, we were silver medal all day long. But at least we're on the podium. But no, but for real, like I was like, yeah, because last week it was me and Father Luke, and then the week before it was Father Luke and you guys, and then I think before that it was me and Father Luke as well.
no,
Or was it you?
you had 2 weeks off.
You're right.
Yeah.
Everyone enjoyed it.
Father
So
Joe
sorry,
and I had
I'm
a
back.
podcast. Remember?
Oh,
Father
that's right.
Joe
Well, we
and I
were
had
in
a
Minnesota.
podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, you were
Yeah,
hiding
I
in, the
enjoyed that.
Minnesota.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed that podcast. That was very fun. I watched
I
it
agree
in my
it was
hotel.
fun. It was not fun trying to figure out how to upload it while you guys were yelling at us from the.
I wasn't
Minnesota.
yelling. We were just laughing because it was just like, oh, I was laughing
You
because,
guys were driving.
well, yes, and Father Ross was like, I was trying to be serious and be like, okay, just click this button, and he was just like side comments, which is usually what I do. So I felt it was a good learning experience for me because I'm like, this is so annoying, and then I was like, oh, I probably annoy everybody. So anyway, I apologize.
Anyway.
So the bulletin this week.
Yeah. You want to explain the front cover, Tim?
Yeah, so I did not go to the Eucharistic Congress a couple months ago. Father Luke did. We had a cool Church Bulletin insert episode where he talked about his experience. You can go watch that. But I watched some of it on the internet, checked it out, and I loved Jonathan Rumi's shirt when he gave his talk. That's this quote that's on the front of the bulletin. If it's just a symbol, to hell with it. Referring to the Eucharist and the real presence of Jesus. The true presence of Jesus? How do you say it? The real presence of Jesus in the Most Blessed Sacrament. It's by Flannery O'Connor. So I was like, oh, we should get that because of this weekend's gospel. Jesus, finishes up the Bread of Life discourse in John chapter 6, and many of the disciples leave, and Jesus doesn't correct them. It's a perfect shirt I'm wearing from Minnesota. Ope. That's what Midwesterners say when you bump into somebody. Like before you say, excuse me. Like, oh, excuse me, kind of thing. Jesus didn't do that when the disciples left. He wasn't like, oh, hey, hold on. It was figurative. It's symbolic. No.
Double down.
He did. So he let them go. So yeah, that's what this, I just love this quote because I don't think we realize often, to be serious for 2 seconds, or like call it to mind often that like the Eucharist is more than a symbol. And if it is just a symbol, we are wasting our time. So I say, I agree with Flannery O'Connor. So as I was kind of looking around at different like fun little memes of this, I realized that I didn't even know what Flannery O'Connor looked like.
Yeah,
So then I know. So I found a picture of her and I was like, that's cool. So put it up there.
You talk about that, like not realizing sometimes, like, and I think I talked about it on one of our episodes too, right? Like, I don't know. I've never not thought of Jesus as the real presence, and that's a sanctuary song that is sung sometimes.
Yes.
Prepare me to be a sanctuary,
Yes.
so I can receive Jesus that way. Like it really changes that thought process. So if you don't know those words, look it up. I think it's called the Sanctuary Song, or that's what we call
Yeah.
it. somewhere.
Sanctuary. Just,
Yeah.
sanctuary.
Anyway, if you need help finding it, just contact the office, and Tim and I will help you get that song. But
Absolutely.
to make yourself the sanctuaries, everybody will genuflect in front of the tabernacle, bow. However, but when you receive Jesus, we become that saint. We become that tabernacle.
Huh. I'm going to pray with that one. When you receive. I like that.
I
Like,
actually
again.
just stuttered. It wasn't like
I know, but I was like, whoa. I just came from the Wonder Conference where they're like, think about things. Wonder. I'm going to wonder about that one. I like it. Receive. That's interesting. That's a
You
cool
receive
word.
every week, right?
I do.
Every time
I
you
do.
receive, you become the Eucharist.
Although not, I hopefully do every week. I mean, that's something I think people don't often think about because our obligation as Catholics is to receive the Eucharist during the season of Easter once a year. But it is not to receive every week. We are to attend Mass every week. And I think that actually, not to get preachy or something, but that actually I think plays into this, it's not a symbol. Like, are you actually taking the time to prepare your heart and your mind to receive the Eucharist. Are you in a state of mortal sin? And if you are, well, go to confession. It's not like to be condemning. It's like it's freeing. But like to actually treat the Eucharist with the gravity. But so there was something too. I attended a funeral recently. It was beautiful, but it was a non-Catholic funeral, and it was like the love for the person was unmatched. Like it was a beautiful service, but I was talking to a parishioner at our church who was there as well, and we both just noticed it. The lack of the Eucharist. Like it was just like it's not that their funeral service was less than like a Catholic one. That's not what I mean. But just how beautiful the Eucharist actually was just highlighted for me. So I'm excited for this Sunday. I think Jesus is going to reveal himself to us, and we will then in turn reveal him to others, which is actually kind of what the family reflection's about, but we'll get to that later. I'm going to turn the page.
Well, we want to welcome, and so we have some, our ministry team listed there. Erica Ray has started this week here with us before obviously before the bulletin is published and handed out on Sunday, but she is here, and she's actually here with us in the studio watching us do this podcast. Yeah. Telling us, how horrible we're being.
She got a thumbs up.
Yay, Erica.
That's exciting.
It's been fun. We worked together today on a Spanish bulletin for the children. So we're going to have, lots of resources out there now in bilingual.
Are you excited to have a sister in the office? Another lady? Because it's just been you and the boys for like a long time.
Ever. It's fine.
No, we're so excited. She's
I mean, even the dog's a boy. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, and she is like literally sitting like right there. So like, hey, Erica. But no, I love her bike. It's awesome. So I'm talking about her and she's sitting here, but it's okay. No, we're super excited to have her on board. And as we welcome her, we're kind of saying goodbye, or at least see you later to Father Joe. We'll get that at the end. But when do you go back? Monday. So right after this weekend. And what are you going to be studying? Just to show people how smart you are. Well, hey, thank you. We Father Luke and I talked about this. So Father Luke and I in last week's episode, he thought I was pressing a button. I'm not, but I got 3 thumbs up in a row, like boom, 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 and then he got 3 in a row, and then I got a 4th one. Hey, there we go. So it's kind of a fun game that we play now.
Absolutely no idea because
we have no clue.
Not live.
No, we don't know where it's coming from.
Okay,
but we appreciate it. So right now, I guess if we're gonna do it, it's 1-to-1. Between me and Sarah. So Father Joe, you better start talking. So what are you going to be studying? What are you going to be studying this semester?
Oh boy, you're putting me on the spot. So we have protection of rights. We have supradiocesan structures, which are things like the Bishops' Conference and the Roman Curia and all of those things to help us know who helps the bishop when he's running the diocese. We have temporal goods, which is, what canon law says about money, property, and things like that in the church. We have, procedural law, which is like the annulment proceedings, and if there has to be, God forbid, some sort of a canonical trial in the church, what that process looks like. And then because the official language of the church is still Latin, I have to take Latin for canonists, reading canonical Latin specifically. So it'll be a lot of work, a lot of reading, it seems like. But
I do not envy you, but we are grateful to you for doing this for all of us, because that's the thing. Like there are things in the church that when you do need something and you have to observe canon law in it. Like I just want to say I am happy for the people of God here in Erie, because you're a very pastoral man, and so to have that attitude along with the legality within, like, I think is going to be it's for a lot of people who are in a situation where you could speak coldly, bluntly, and just explain the rules, but to also be able to do it in a kind and loving way is going to be powerful, I think, for people in the future. So anyway, not to make you all
blush.
Oh man. But for real,
that's why I wore a red shirt. So
it just blends right in. There you go. All right.
Mask my blush.
I don't think so. Yeah. So we have Erica. We also have. They're not new necessarily, but we just also want to welcome Deacon Miguel, because a deacon is tied to the assignment of the pastor. So he's been a deacon at San Esteban for years and years and years. But now that Father Ross is the pastor of San Esteban and St. Jude, the Apostle Parish, then Deacon Miguel, because he's assigned with Father Ross, is now the parish or the deacon for both as well. And of course, we still have Deacon Dick Brogdon, who's now the deacon for both, and Deacon Matt O'Collick. I don't think he's in the bulletin yet. That's what I was. Or is he?
Yes.
Hey, there he is. Look at that. So welcome to all of our deacons and everybody. It's an exciting time in the church. So we're just happy to be here. Just for the last time in August, please pray for the Pope's intentions, which is for political leaders everywhere. So please keep them in your prayers. I don't think there's anything really new on these pages.
No, but we moved the sacrificial giving over a page.
Yes.
Just for the simple fact, because we had to break down the in these 3 months of the merger and the partnership, we had to add in some extra St. Andrew information, and going forward from here, everything will be combined. So you'll see the St. Jude gold change to reflect the merger.
Yeah, of St. Andrew, yes, together. Okay.
And also, because of this, we are looking to, by October 1st, I think that's the date, right? Or, yes, by starting in October, your checks need to be written to St. Jude, or they'll be returned back to you to get that updated. It's just for the finance office and making sure that everything's streamlined that way. So.
Yep. Thank you so much for making that change. It's important because it's the rules. It's the banks. It's not just us or anything like that. So, also our stewardship moment. Please give that a read. That's available in English and Espanol. It's a cool reflection, and every month, the diocese sends us these letters and these reflections, and it's neat to, I always think, hey, I got 2 thumbs up, yay. So I think it's fun. I never really, I think I said this when we first started putting in the bulletin, but I never really thought about the stewardship and all that stuff with the readings, and that's what's cool about this. So give that a look and a prayer. And so, as I mentioned a little bit earlier when we were talking about the bulletin cover, in the family reflection part here, just kind of breaking it down to 2 parts to this revealing Jesus idea. And one of them is to receive Jesus, and then the other is to reveal him. Now, maybe you've heard the term, you can't give what you don't have. So we talk about revealing Jesus all the time. But where do you get Jesus so that you can reveal him? Well, through prayer, through community, through all the stuff we do. But the primary way to receive Jesus is to literally receive Jesus in the Eucharist. So give that a look, maybe talk about it as a family. Do you believe that Jesus Christ is fully present in the Eucharist? Are you taking the time to prepare yourself for Mass? Like, there's a whole group of people who meet every Wednesday. We were together this morning. We read through the readings and then talk about it a little bit. You can do that around your dinner table or in the car. It's very easy.
Or join us here on Wednesday mornings if you have nothing else to do at 9 a.m.
Absolutely. All are welcome. Like, Father Joe, what would you, like, I've always heard that, like, with, when you're in college or you're taking a class, if you read the material beforehand, you're more disposed to it. Like why is that, do you think? Like, would that really help with the readings, or am I just making things up?
No, I mean, first of all, knowing sort of where the story is going is helpful, because the Lord speaks to us at Mass. That's why we read them out loud and don't just put them on projectors for people to read themselves. It's a way for the Lord to speak to us, and if we know generally where the story's going, sometimes things strike us in a new way hearing it read out loud, or we have a general idea of what we're expected to hear, so that the Lord can sort of jump out at us in a new way. And so coming in, pre-knowing the readings is always helpful. Plus, let's be honest, St. Jude's has a lot of young families, thank the good Lord above, and sometimes it can be difficult to hear and pay attention. And if you want to have any idea what the heck Father's talking about during this homily, it's nice to come in already knowing what you've got.
That's true.
Well, if you stay tuned, you might get a second homily at the end of Mass, depending on the priest that you have. Anyway.
Roasted.
Anyway, and speaking of...
You just put our pastor on blast.
I did.
Oh,
but
boy.
That's okay. And speaking of monitors, we do have liturgical monitors here at St. Jude that we have been putting up the words to songs, to the songs now.
And some of the prayers, a little bit of the prayers, yeah.
And when we speak in Latin so that you can speak with us, so that way you understand what you're saying and stuff too. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So on from we always move from
family.
From the family. If I have the
children's bulletin,
if it's done, and it is this time because
hey, look at you! You got a thumbs up. 2 to 2.
All right.
To 0.
So the picture was just really pretty. I'm pretty sure it's the Psalm, for the week.
Which one?
Psalm.
Taste and see.
No, it's not. It's Psalm 125. Anyway,
which is also
it's really
a good
pretty.
psalm. It's okay.
So yeah, because it says, "As mountains surround Jerusalem, so does the Lord surround the people." So, boom, right? Like receiving Jesus and all that stuff. In it, we're going to talk about Saint Moses the Black, whose feast day is next Wednesday. So I thought it was pretty cool. Father Joe helped me find this picture for coloring because it was a little harder to find.
So Father Ross, when I mentioned it, because I know a little bit. I will not claim to know a lot, but Father Ross was like, who the heck is St. Moses the Black? So if he doesn't know, and I feel like he knows a lot of stuff, there are probably a lot of other people who don't know, who might not pick up the bulletin. So just for fun, in like 10 seconds, tell us about St. Moses the Black.
He's remembered as one of the Desert Fathers and is honored as an apostle of nonviolence.
Ooh,
so
that's cool.
There's a lot in here about him. So he was a slave to begin with in Egypt, and then it moved on, obviously for nonviolence, which is what we promote all the time. There's a recipe to share his family. It's a pretty easy one. You can always, change it that way. And then there's some stuff on the back to pray with. Point to ponder, praying with music, which is my favorite way to pray, actually. I'm not fond of silence. I try. It's difficult for me, but praying with music is always a favorite. And actually, a friend of mine was talking about Tom Booth last week. And when I saw this, I was like, I have to share this with her. So I sent it to her, and it's actually one of her favorite songs is the one they suggest in here. So
that's cool.
Beautiful thing. And then a liturgy link that actually is where I got that it's hard for me to pray in silence is during Mass. When are you able to spend time with God in silence? And then a family challenge of being a peacemaker in your family or in your friends group and stuff that way. So just different ways to pray, which is what we are always looking for. So again, if you're a child or a child at heart, always pick up the Children's Bulletin. We'll print as many copies as you need so that everybody can have a little bit of extra fun and maybe color and pray too, because that's another way to I've seen that too. So yeah.
In Uno's tip of the week this week, it is just a simple shout out and exhortation to all those who still use WeShare for online giving. Soon, I do not know exactly when, maybe you do, I don't know, but it will no longer be available. So if you want to continue to give online, we ask that you please switch over to Flocknote. If you've already made your Flocknote, you go in there and get that done. If you haven't, this QR code will take you there. Also, there are the basic instructions in the bulletin again for signing up for Flocknote. So if you are using WeShare still as a member of the parish, just know that in a matter there, it won't be long. That's all I know, that will no longer be available. So just be aware of that. Thank you so much for making the switch. We very much appreciate it.
And if you're hesitant because we are switching, platforms, or you feel that, when we say Flocknote's a communication service, once again, Flocknote is a way for the parish to get information to you. And you can respond back, but you can't send messages to just anybody randomly.
Yes.
So that's why we want to use this. So that way, when we need a parish-wide message to go out, we send a parish-wide. When we want something just for a specific group, like a lector, Eucharistic minister, parents in faith formation, parents in the school, however we want it to go that way, we just send it to that group. So that not everybody needs to know what's going on that way. So it's a very, very, very secure system, and that's why we encourage people to use it. And if you just use it for just giving and want some information, the parish bulletin is going to be sent a little bit more detailed throughout the week that way. So just something to get just to get more information from us.
Absolutely. And through Flocknote, you can get Word on Fire Engage, which is essentially a ton of resources to help you grow in your faith. It's fantastic. So take advantage of that.
And
so
they also have a children's part with a Word on Fire too.
Oh, yes.
That's what I use for the children's bulletin, but if you want a little extra family resources for different age levels.
That's awesome. So we kind of already did this. We'll add a couple of people to our list of welcome. But first, a shout out. So Father Ross wrote a very nice welcome to a few people, but also farewell. Just a couple people that he named departing from our team at St. Jude and San Esteban. First of all, Jesse Spinogle. He's been at St. Jude's for years and years and years. So Father Ross just says thank you so much to him. And also Father Cesar from over at St. Stephen. He's been over there for many years and is very much loved. And he'll be heading back to Mexico, I believe. Today. So we just want to wish him well. And all of our prayers are with them as they move on to this next chapter of life. And we already mentioned our deacons, Matthew O'Collick, Miguel Alvarez, and Dick Brogdon. We also want to welcome Marlene Eck and Frank. I'm going to mess up his last name. How do you say it? Do you know? Okay, Frank Nietzsche. Sorry if we got it wrong. But they'll be working with Tom in managing the property and all that kind of stuff. So welcome to them. We're just very excited for all of this growth and this movement. So, but read what Father Ross wrote. It's very nice. Also, this is massive. Do you want to read it, Father Joe?
Sure.
Why not? Because you just celebrated, the 715.
Yes.
Over at St. Andrews. So,
yes.
So now what will happen when you come back?
So, Father Ross has made very clear from the very beginning that the Mass schedule was sort of a temporary fix. Just while we were figuring out what's going on and how everything is working. We've talked as priests, the deacons have all talked, and he's listened to the feedback of parishioners. And so effective September 15th, the Mass at St. Andrews will be moving from 7:15 a.m. to 9:15 a.m. So unfortunately, it still doesn't quite work out that they can go back to the 11 o'clock Mass like they used to. But we are able to offer one safely a little bit later in the day. And again, we thank you for being patient with us as we're figuring things out. We know that it's very difficult for parishioners who are not used to change and aren't used to things being different from the way they've always been, but it's difficult for us too, trying to figure out how to make everything work. We're only human. We can only be in one place at one time.
Absolutely.
So we're working forward and looking forward to what the future has in store.
Absolutely. So again, 9:15. So keep an eye on that. Next couple of weeks will still be at 7:15, but we'll get to that. I'm only going to do this simply because I am the one, if there's a typo in the bulletin, who always does it. It's always me, except for today. And so I'll let you go read that new Mass time, and maybe you can find the little typo in there. So little fun game.
I was being nice because I thought it was you, and I didn't.
It wasn't me. This one I didn't touch. So
I caught yours up here.
yeah, I know the filet. I just wanted Chick-fil-A that day. I'm sorry. So anyway, I already mentioned we've got the went off the camera. Right here we've got the how to set up your Flocknote. So please. Yep. Absolutely. He just wanted to start Mass early. It's okay. 7:14.
That's the time announcements start, actually.
Yeah, exactly. So it makes sense. All right. So calling for some volunteers. This is actually not in the bulletin, but I had a conversation with Marlene Eck today. She came by the office to drop a couple things off, and she was telling me that at the food pantry that happened yesterday. So it's not for 2 weeks. But the food pantry was short a couple of people for volunteers, or at least had the bare minimum amount of people who were able to help. So I told her, I said, we've got a lot of people, I'm sure, who would be interested in helping with that. So if you are interested, let us know. So a little shout out there. But we also need volunteers to join us for our new adoration ministry. This is something that is carrying over with the merger of St. Andrews into St. Jude's. the First Friday Adoration. So they have been very faithful. The people of St. Andrews doing this for years. Now we are coming together to do this together at St. Jude's on the first Friday of every month. But our devotion, it says, still has only 2 hours more that need to be filled. I've been involved at the Adoration Chapel over at St. Joe's, the Perpetual Adoration Chapel over there, so I know this from that experience, also from a parish that I worked in St. Louis, where, like, if we don't get the hours filled for any amount of time that is, allocated for the Lord to be exposed in the Blessed Sacrament, or that the Blessed Sacrament exposed, the people who run the show or what have to come and do it, because we cannot leave the Eucharist by itself in the monstrance. Like, someone has to be there. Am I right about that? Okay. So just making sure that we just make it clear, like, we really need your help. So please, if you would like to spend some time with the Lord, let us know or sign up by...
I actually came last time. I don't know that I can make the full commitment every time, but to the 1 a.m., which is one of the slots open.
Sure.
And it's a different time of night. Too,
before I had kids, I had an adoration slot that was midnight to 1, and yeah, it's beautiful. Coming in the nighttime to be with him. So
and here, just to let you know that the chapel is the only door open. So if you're coming at that time, there is a special code given to the people overnight because the rest of the church is locked.
Yep.
The doors between the chapel and the church are also locked.
Yes.
And the doors into the church are locked. So if there is a stair in the chapel that you would have to go up and down. We are looking to make that more handicap accessible, but just be aware of that if you are here overnight. But we want to keep you safe. Every once in a while, we do have some people that, come to St. Jude as a safe haven, and we just want to make sure that the people that are coming here to pray also are safe. So
yes.
Just be aware of that. If you're coming, if you have any problems or you need assistance or something else during that time, let us know, or we can see if we can, help you out with a different time slot too. We'll talk to the people in charge. So
absolutely. So to commit to an hour for this adoration time on First Fridays, you can contact Carol Layden or Barb Kuhn. Their information is here in the bulletin. Also, this is kind of neat. Rose is going to be helping to coordinate a Seven Sisters prayer group or apostolate. And this is a thing that's done all over. Basically, it's 7 women who answer the call to pray for the priests of the parish. So the first priest they'll be praying for is Father Ross. I like how it's like, very specific. And just so if there are more than 7, the next 7 will be praying for Father Luke. So if we get 21, Father Joe, maybe you'll get some.
I'll get tacked on to that list too. Yes.
So I think it also alternates, but I'm not sure. But anyway, so ladies, my mother actually, she actually does one of these things out in Minnesota. So it's a beautiful devotion, and it's very specific. It's you pray for the priest, like that's it. It's very intentional, and it's frankly something all of us should be doing for our priests is praying for them. But this is a very specific intention. There's a lot of grace there for the priest, but Jesus can't be outdone in generosity. So if you give this time and this prayer for his priests, I guarantee you will get some grace out of it as well. So
it does have to be done in the presence of a tabernacle.
Yep.
But if you want to make it part of your Friday thing,
that would work.
First Friday, you can do that during that hour that you would give too. So
if you want to sign up for that ministry, contact Rose. Yep. Her info is also here. And Erie Gives. We had $3,840 given on Erie Gives Day. Thank you so much to those of you who gave. We appreciate it. And if you still want to donate to that project of the tables and chairs for over at the school, you can do that. All you have to do is talk to Sarah.
Contact the office.
Yeah, contact the office, and we'll be like, thank you. So if that's something you're interested in as time goes on. We also want to offer our condolences to the Tyson family. Timothy, we will have celebrated his life coming up on Saturday. And then last week we had probably one of the funnest baptism crowds I've seen in a while. No offense to anyone else who has had their child baptized and have cool families. You're all great. But the Zapolskis, man, it was hopping. Like the kids were like in the windows, like just chatting it up, but not like inappropriately. They were talking about the baptism. Like they were like, he's going to dump water on his head. Like it was awesome. Like they were Father Jason was he was blessing the water, and it was like, what's he doing? Like it was awesome. So, but yeah, it was beautiful. Both twins baptized. So wonderful family and all that stuff.
And if you think you can do better than that, I know this afternoon, Father Luke and Father Ross were both talking about baptismal prep classes. So
Ooh!
If you know of children who are ready to be baptized, who need to be baptized, they're putting together the updated baptismal prep classes. They're planning on offering them in both English and Spanish.
Yes.
And of course, the best way to get started with that is just to call the office.
Mm-hmm.
Baptisms are always an exciting time in the church.
Yes.
And then we're going to direct you to go to the website, stjude.church. Underneath sacraments, click on baptism. Everything you need for baptism is there. The requirements of godparents and the procedures, for getting a baptismal class and all the other good paperwork that we need in the office from you. So you can read everything there.
Absolutely. And if you do need to talk about it, like I know sometimes for me, like it's nice just sometimes if you have a question to just ask. So yes, the answers are on the website and we will direct you there. But if you do need to call and chat about it, feel free. You're always welcome to. That's why all of our contact info is in the front of the bulletin. So for the moments like this, we have our open house coming up Saturday, the 7th, and Sunday, September 8th. And so we'll just have all of our ministers, essentially all the priests, we'll all be around talking about the ministries that we have going on here at St. Jude's and San Esteban, both parishes. Is going to be great. Also, we'll have our St. Jude Parish Picnic. Everyone is welcome to attend that. It's going to be after the 10:30 Mass. So the open house and the Parish Picnic are going to kind of join together, I think, a little bit, but that's awesome. So there will be food and fun and I don't know.
More fun.
What else?
More fun. What more do you need? Yeah. This is exciting. So along with the time change for Mass over at St. Andrews, Trish, our music director, or Trisha, we met with her and Devin, the accompanist, and Bruce, Trisha's husband, who conducts the 10:30 choir. We met with them, and they are so excited to get to know our parishioners who were doing the music over at St. Andrews before the merge, to talk about bringing the music back into that Mass. So there's going to be a meet and greet on Monday. So Monday, August 26th. So that's coming up. So please, if you are involved in music ministry at St. Jude or St. Andrews, or you would like to get involved with music ministry, please come to that meet and greet. It's going to be very informal, just to chat and talk about, style and song preferences and that sort of thing. So please come to that. You're more than welcome. And then, Sarah, this is your thing, which this is the first thing that I encountered when I came to St. Jude's a couple years ago, was Sarah yelling at me or to me, "Don't throw away that box." And I was like, "Why?" And she was like, "College care packages." And I was like, "Say that again, because it's phenomenal." I was like, this is fantastic. So go ahead, tell us about it.
So once again, we're going to bring back the College Care Package program. Again, if your student or if you're a grandparent or aunt, uncle, I don't care if the child does not even belong to this church, it doesn't matter. If you want them to have some type of inspirational stuff or prayers throughout the year, we do send a couple of cards, starting in September, then one at Thanksgiving. If they're graduating in December, I send them a graduation gift. And then we do another one at Valentine's Day, of course, to send the love. And then we need to know when their finals are, and we send a college care package full of goodies that the parish provides, our parish parishioners provide, not the parish, but parish parishioners provide. We pack it up. We send them off so that they get this box of goodies to snack on. And I know from raising a college student that she well, she got the leftovers, but not too. But it was always her favorite leftovers. But she always loved that college care package program. Receiving that, I don't know if you.
I was just gonna say I'm signing Father Joe up. I'm gonna be like, we gotta send Father Joe one of these things now.
Yes. Did you ever have anything through college?
Yes, when I was in college, both my undergraduate degree and in the seminary, my grandma always made sure to sign me up for the one at St. Boniface. So I would always get my tube of goodies and prayer cards and all of that fun stuff. So
awesome.
So
it makes you feel better.
For real, I think we should send him one. I really do.
And I have the college students come back and they're just so thankful and they love it. And the parents get phone calls from the kids. I've had grandparents who have grandkids who are not sure on church, but they call their grandparent to say, I got this from your parish, Grandma, and it just, those conversations are just what's needed in the world today. So if you know of a college student and you want them to get a care package, send me their information and we'll get them on the list.
Absolutely.
And if you have them on the list from before, just make sure I have the updated information so I don't send it to a random address.
Yeah, I was going to say addresses in college always change. So it's very rare you'll be year to year the same one. So, so to kind of leave it where we started it, we have the end of the Bread of Life discourse this weekend. Something I just encourage everybody to do, if you haven't ever read all of John chapter 6, please, if you have 10 minutes, go and read the whole thing, because the beginning of this gospel reading this week is the Jews who are listening saying, this is a hard saying, so if you want to know what the hard saying is, that's everything we've been hearing for the past several weeks. But not to put you on the spot, Father Joe, but if you had like a suggestion to prepare, because we've got Joshua's cool exhortation, all this stuff, like what's something you would encourage people to do to prepare for this weekend?
Yeah, I think it's to do exactly what Jesus tells us to in the gospel. If we're wrestling with this stuff, bring it to him. Not to walk away sad like most of them did, but because really the reason what Peter says, where else are we going to go? You have the words of everlasting life. Why would we want to leave?
Right.
Yes, it's difficult. Yes, we don't really understand what you're saying, but we know who you are, and we know that that's way better. And so maybe you're wrestling with it yourself. Just bring that to the Lord.
It's funny. I'm watching season 4 of The Chosen right now.
Oh, how far are you?
And there's a quote. Well, there's a scene between Matthew and Gaius.
Yes.
Where Matthew gets up every day. He's like, I don't understand, and I may be wrestling with this, that, or the other thing, and whatnot. But the best thing I can get up and do every day is follow him.
Yep.
I mean,
I think
as simple as that.
He says like, I get all overwhelmed, and he goes, then I remember the only thing I have to do today is follow him, and the rest takes care of itself. So
I know that's The Chosen.
Do you like? Yeah, we love it. We love The Chosen here. It's good. But I was thinking about all the moments, and then like in the first reading, you've got Joshua, who's like, choose today who you are going to follow, and so just to echo what Father Joe just said, please do that. Like, choose today. Are you going to be like the disciples that leave, or are you going to be like Simon and the 12 apostles who stay? Because, like you said, where else are we going to go? So thank you so much for watching.
Yes.
Thank you for listening. Again, welcome to all of our new family here on the staff. And we just know that we are here to serve you. We love to do that. I think my favorite compliment we've ever received as a staff from a younger parishioner was how they didn't say this exact word, but just the concept of how interruptible we are. And I'm like, that's I never would have thought about that as a compliment, but it really is a thing. Because if you read any of the stories of Jesus, any of the miracles, he's always doing something else, and then someone shows up and is like, hey, I need this. And Jesus is like, okay, so.
Or the woman who touched the hemorrhaging woman
exactly.
who touches him when he's walking. It's like, who touched me?
Right? Like, so don't be afraid. We're trying to follow Jesus here at St. Jude's, and we just invite you to join us and to help us, because we can learn, we can grow. This is a family. This is a community. So thank you so much for watching. Know of our prayers for you. And I guess that's it.
That's it. See you next time.
Have a great week.